Hello YouTube, it's Sign here with Hobbies Man once again, and today we're going to be doing our monthly check-in, our middle of the month video where we just talk about what's been happening lately. I have the usual two topics of what I've been watching, what I've been reading, but I also have just kind of a travel log, I guess. I'm just going to talk a little bit about what I've been doing recently and how I've been feeling post-COVID. So, yeah, let's just start with that. So, I got COVID a few weeks ago, right after I came home from staying in my apartment during June, which is sometime after June 18th, I think. I think I got sick on the 21st. I was sick that week, and then we had a little bit of extra time to kind of get better. I didn't really have any problems, actually, during COVID. Most of my symptoms were very, very mild. I honestly felt like I was just having really bad allergies more than I was sick. So that's cool. I don't know. I think it's meaningful and positive that it didn't happen that badly. I do still have some slight like bronchitis kind of type issues going on. Even, basically 3 weeks from the last time I felt sick. So I don't know. Maybe it's a lasting issue. Maybe it's just that I've been really bad about taking care of my throat and stuff while I was sleeping. And of course, in Mexico, it's really, really hot, like more hot than it is here in Houston, Texas, which is an extremely hot place already. But it's even hotter in the northern part of Mexico where I went. And I would basically be sweating all day. And then I would go into a room that had a mini split, which is just a wall mounted AC unit. And there we would blast cold air throughout the whole night. I would actually end up waking up freezing. And so it's really weird. It's just a very odd, bit of weather changes that might be part of the reason why I still have like these slight issues. I'm not too sure. I'm not a medical person at all. I don't know anything about being sick except for the fact that I feel sick, and this is what usually works when I feel sick in order to feel better. So I don't know anything. Maybe everything I said was complete bullshit, and that's totally fine. Let me know down in the comments if it was or if it wasn't. But I tested negative before we went to Mexico, so everything is good. I didn't infect anyone or anything like that. And my trip to Mexico was actually really, really nice. So I actually go to the northern part of Mexico. It's called Nuevo León. That's the state. It's I would say that it's probably one of the richer areas of Mexico. One of the most culturally relevant, or at least most culturally well known within Mexico. Although everyone kind of hates people from Nuevo León because they're all like basically really rich country hicks, which is kind of funny. They also have a very strong kind of like cowboy culture, even though everyone lives in a giant city. So it's kind of interesting. It's like if you put Texas, Alabama, Tennessee, and Montana into one place, and then put it into a giant like city that goes into the valley of some mountains. That's basically what Monterrey is in terms of like culture and stuff like that. Of course, with like a very Mexican lean to it because it's quite different from American culture. So I went to Monterrey, or Monterrey, actually, that's how you say it, which is the largest city in Nuevo León. It's also kind of maybe the largest city in the north of Mexico. I'm not too sure, but it's definitely one of the three bigger cities in Mexico. The other two being Guadalajara and Mexico City itself. So that's pretty cool. At least that's how I think about it. I might not be right, actually. There might be other cities that are bigger than Monterrey, but I don't really know too much about that. Because I don't really go outside of Monterrey when I go to Mexico. I mean, I visited Mexico City once to visit my mom's brother, or my uncle. But other than that, I usually just stay in Nuevo León when I go to Mexico. So, yeah, anyway, I went there. I actually passed through it in order to go to the other city in Nuevo León, which is called Linares, which is actually a small city. It would be kind of like, if you're talking DFW, going to Richardson or to Arlington or, something smaller than the actual main city. So that's kind of cool. It's interesting. It's a very nice place. It's very small. and it also doesn't really have too much going on with it. So it's really nice for someone that lives in like, well, I live in the suburbs, but it's really nice for someone that lives a very like fast-paced kind of like city-esque kind of life like I do, to go to a place that is very calm and very not city-like. So it's really nice to go there, and I really enjoy just not having anything to do besides, just sitting around talking to people and reading. And this time that I went also had to play a lot of video games with my little cousin, which were very excruciatingly boring. He played this game called the Untitled Goose Game, which seems to be some sort of like task-oriented game. I didn't really understand what it was about, even though I played it for like 12 hours. And I really don't like video games all that much, and I didn't really understand what the point of that game was. My cousin was really into it, but I really didn't enjoy playing it at all, and so it was a really excruciatingly like boring kind of time. But it made my cousin happy, so at the end of the day, it was well worth it, even if it was really boring for me. But him asking me to play so much actually bit into my reading time quite a lot, which is a little bit disappointing, but also not that big of a deal, honestly. So I spent a week in Linares. I spent a week playing video games with my little cousin and trying to read and hang out with my family, which is really, really nice. I really enjoyed it. There's a lot of good stuff. We went to see Thor, Love and Thunder in this little city. It was actually kind of weird because I went to the movie theater. I was expecting like a normal sized movie theater. What we got was like a really tiny 4-room movie theater, which is, it's actually kind of cute. It was really, really small, but it was, still like a fun movie theater experience. Although people in Mexico are a lot less caring about other people's space and other people's like enjoyment of stuff. So there's a lot of people on their phones while the movie is playing, which is kind of annoying. But that's just how it is in Mexico, and at least it is in North Mexico. So it's not that big of a deal. It was just a little bit annoying. But it's whatever. It's not that big of a deal. We had a lot of carne asada, which is just a Mexican barbecue, basically. As in like cooking out stuff, not barbecue as in like smoking meat. And we did that a few times because that's a very northern Mexican thing to do. You basically have carne asada every time you want to celebrate something or you want to do anything vaguely special. My uncle had his birthday, I had my birthday, and we even had some family members we hadn't seen in a while come to visit my grandma. So there's a lot of reasons to make carne asada, and it was nice. So yeah, I really enjoy carne asada. It's really nice. It's just steak cooked on charcoal, so it's really you can't really go amiss with it, but it is really nice and really enjoyable. Then we spent 4 days in Monterrey. I actually spent my birthday in Monterrey, which was a really nice day. We went to watch Jurassic World Dominion. We went to eat at this restaurant called Talks, which is a very nice kind of like upper end, kind of vaguely like Chili's type of establishment that is very popular across North Mexico. It's really, really good. It's very, very pretty looking, and I really enjoy eating there. So we went to eat, and then most of the restaurants that are like that are also attached to a mall. So we went into the mall, which is called Cumbres, and they had a panini store there. So I went to buy some manga. My mom bought it for me for my birthday, which is awesome. My sister gave me a Baby Yoda Lego set for my birthday, which is awesome. I really liked it. It was actually a really unexpected gift because my sister isn't really a gift giver. But I think that the fact that I moved around so much to try to get gifts for her and my parents this year was kind of like inspiring for her. So she decided to get me one back. Or maybe my mom just made her do it. I'm not too sure. I didn't really bother to find out, but I did get a very nice Lego set out of it. So I got that, and then some manga that my mom bought for me for my birthday. And then we went to watch the movie, and then we went to my uncle's house, my dad's brother this time, to have a carne asada, and we had German chocolate cake, which is one of my favorite cakes to eat. And it was just a lot of fun. I really, really enjoyed my time in Mexico. I thought it was really, really great. And yeah, then what else did we do? There wasn't really anything else too interesting that we did. basically when we go to Mexico, it's to hang out with family, to eat food that we don't usually eat here, and to eat a lot of spicy tamarind candy, because that's also not that easy to get here in the States. I mean, it kind of is here in Texas, but it's not like as common. Also, it's kind of old by the time you get it here in Texas. So, it happens. It's kind of different. It's just nicer to go to Mexico and do it there. And other than that, what else did we do? Nothing too different. I mean, going to Mexico isn't really all that different from just staying here at home, except for the fact that we have family members over there, and the food's a little bit different. It's also a lot cheaper. Like, food there is insanely cheap. Everything else is super hyper expensive, but food is like super duper cheap. I think it wasn't this time, but there was a few years ago where we bought enough tacos for everyone with $25, which is like insane because there was 12 people in when we stay in Linares. We stay with my grandma, who lives with my mom's younger brother, who has a family. So that's all of them, plus my mom's older brother, who has himself and his 2 daughters, and then us, which are 4 people. So us plus everyone else is 12 people, and we got to eat for $25. It's kind of insane how cheap it is, but it's really great. The food is also really, really tasty. I mean, it's kind of dangerous because the what's it called, like the bacteria and stuff that is present in Mexico is slightly different from the one in the US, so sometimes you can get sick, but thankfully that didn't happen this time. So overall, it was a really, really great trip. I really enjoyed my time in Mexico, and it looks like it's going to be the last time that I go to Mexico for the next year or so, just because traveling during the holidays is actually not that easy in Mexico, especially if you go by car, because the borders get really, really full, and my dad can't afford to spend more vacation time during the winter to wait out the long lines at the border. So probably not gonna go there this year, but my mom's side of the family at least did say that they were gonna come up, so that's cool. I'm excited about that. Not having to sit in a car for 12 plus hours is a really great plus. So yeah, now let's talk about what I've been reading. Actually, let's talk about what I've been watching first. So while I was in Mexico, I finished watching Drifting Dragons, which is an anime that I left unfinished for like a year and a half. I finally finished it. It finishes at the same point as like volume 6 of the story, if I remember correctly. I'm not too sure. It's the Dragon Corridor storyline. And it's really good, actually. It takes a little bit of time to get used to the 3D CGI animation, but once you get past that, it's really, really good. The dragons are a little bit funky. They just don't have very easy shapes to deal with, and so they kind of look weird. But I think it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I think that the music was probably the best part of the story, or of the anime, because it is the one thing that I didn't already get to experience from the manga, and so I really had a lot of time to pay attention to it, and I thought it was really, really beautiful. It kind of fit really nicely into the story, and even though the anime itself, like the plot line and stuff of the anime, didn't really appeal to me as much because I've already read it, and I like the manga better anyway, just because I like source material, and also I just like that I can pace myself differently in manga compared to watching an anime. So, the most redeeming feature of it is the music, because it's the only one that I haven't experienced yet. And I think that they did a really, really good job with the Drifting Dragons soundtrack. So, good stuff there. I watched episodes 8 through 12, so the final third of the season, which is good. Then I started watching Bastard, and I got almost finished with it, actually. I could have finished it if I wanted to, but watching TV while driving across Mexican roads is not that good, because those roads are really badly maintained, and so you bounce around a lot, and it's just an easy way to throw up, so I just chose not to do that. And when I was going to sit down to watch the last 2 episodes of the series, my little cousin asked me to play video games with him, and I didn't want to say no to him because it's just kind of mean. So I went to play video games with him, and then I spent 5 hours doing that, and then I couldn't come back to finish the the episodes I was missing. So I'll probably end up finishing it tomorrow or the day after, and then I'll make a review for it at some point. But Bastard is really, really fun. Like, it definitely has issues, like in terms of content. Like, the content in it is probably okay for Japanese people, but Americans and more Western type, liberal leaning type of people are definitely going to have issues with it, because it definitely does play into those older, like anime ecchi type of tropes, and I don't really have a problem with it. Actually, I really enjoyed those specific tropes, because they're things that you don't really see that often anymore, and I thought it was kind of nostalgic and kind of funny, because it's just so over the top ridiculous, and like the main character is just dumb as fuck, and it's very clearly not supposed to be serious, and like it's just funny, and I don't know how to explain why it's funny. Maybe someone's gonna blame me of some really shitty thing, but it's just funny because the framing of the situations is funny, and so I thought it was a really enjoyable story. I really enjoyed the soundtrack. I think it's a very fairy tale-esque kind of perfect blend of old school, like tavern music sounding type of stuff, plus very cool metal, like hard rock type guitar riffs, and I love that a lot. I think it's a great specific type of music, and I like that a lot. I think the setting is really interesting in Bastard. It's a very cool post-apocalyptic, not sure where magic came from kind of thing, but it doesn't really matter. Like, the magic origin isn't really that important. I really enjoyed the spell casting. I just think it's cool that it's just really ridiculous, and then you like hear something that sounds like a metal band's name, or a rock, like a hard rock band's name, and I like that. I think it's fun. I watched it in English. I think the voice actors did a great job. It's just so fun. It's ridiculous. Like, you can hear them just having like a lot of fun and almost like kind of laughing while they're doing whatever they're doing, which is great. Bastard in general was just awesome. I really enjoyed the like 80s or like 90s aesthetic of the series, with like very modern kind of animation. I thought it was really awesome. Like, everything about Bastard just worked for me, and I really can't wait to finish it, and also to get the second part of the story. I'm kind of sad that I didn't get to experience Bastard in the original format, but also I just really enjoyed it anyways, and so I'm really happy that I watched it, and hopefully all of the attention that Bastard is gonna get makes it so Viz and or Seven Seas, maybe not and, but or Seven Seas, pick it up, because I think it's a very fun series, and I definitely want to collect it, and I want to see just how ridiculous it can get, because it is very like crazily ridiculous, right? It has this like guts looking guy who's supposed to be some Koga ninja, and this really hot elf chick that wears like giant armor, and then she just decides to take it off, and she's like super hot, and she's like this really badass lightning lady. And then there's this the main character is the Bastard, right? But he's like a little kid. He's supposed to be 14, but he looks like he's like 8. And then he like unleashes his magic power like He-Man, and then he turns into like this hot, like, badass dude. And there's this girl that kind of raised him, even though they're more or less the same age. And it's just really fun and really ridiculous, and I enjoyed Bastard a lot. I can't wait to finish it. And then I watched Thor Love and Thunder. Like I said, it's a great movie. I actually really enjoyed it. I know that there's a lot of people that don't like it, and I understand why, but like spectacle wise and just enjoyment, it was perfect. I really, really enjoyed it. I really like Ragnarok a lot, though, so I think it's one of those, like, if you like the previous one, you'll probably like this one, and if you didn't, you probably won't. I really enjoyed the goats. I don't know why, just the gag of them screaming like crazy was really fun, and I really enjoyed like the mythological aspect of like Thor has these goats that he just carries with him, and they help him maneuver across the world, and I think that's fun. I didn't really care too much about the Korg gags, but I don't really dislike Korg either. I think he's a fun character. Valkyrie was fun. I really liked Jane's emotional journey. I thought that was really interesting. I didn't really care too much about Gore as a character, but I think that the stuff that he did was interesting. In general, I just really enjoyed the movie. I like the aesthetic of it, the 80s kind of nostalgia feel. It's interesting because I'm not an 80s kid, so I don't know where this nostalgia comes from. It's one of these like pop culture things that just kind of happens even if you're not from that actual time period. It just is. Although I think it's partially because I'm an older Zoomer, right? So a lot of the things that I was exposed to was things that 80s kids were also exposed to, and so I feel a connection with a lot of that stuff more so than I do with like modern like Fortnite type shit. So I don't know. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really, really fun movie. It's gonna be fun on a rewatch, but of course there's a lot of problems with it. And it's actually quite bad, I think, in terms of plotline. Just because Gore doesn't make sense. Like, the way he's set up, he should be a good guy, and all of the gods he killed, except for the first one, are actually probably the good gods, when he should have been killing the bad ones, right? So, I don't know. It doesn't really matter to me all that much. At the end of the day, Marvel movies are never going to be the top tier, literary, like, best written, kind of like, highest level of cinema, and I don't really want them to be, because I don't really care about that junk. I just want to be entertained, and Marvel entertains me a lot, and Thor Love and Thunder specifically entertained me a lot. So I'm really happy with the movie. Then I watched Jurassic World Dominion. I really enjoyed it as well. I think knowing about the Locust plot point beforehand really helped me not care about it too much, because a lot of people hate it, and I think that it makes sense within the context of the movie. Like, of course you would need something to present to why this company would be bad, and dinosaurs being part of the world makes it so dinosaurs can't be the reason why this company is bad. So they have to make some, like, Cretaceous Frankenstein locust. And it makes sense. And I didn't really have an issue with it. Also, it didn't really matter. Like, at the end of the day, we got to see awesome dinosaurs fighting awesome dinosaurs. We got to see humans being, able to fight dinosaurs as well. So I really enjoyed everything. We saw Omar Sy, I guess his name is, like the guy that played Lupin in the Lupin TV show on Netflix, which is awesome. I really like him. I really like him as Lupin. I don't really know too much about him as an actor. I don't really care either. Like, at the end of the day, these people are going to have lives and situations that occur to them that really have nothing to do with me. I don't really have to have an opinion on them beyond, like, I like them in this movie or in that movie, right? So, then I watched The Batman just earlier this night, actually. I rented it out and watched it with my dad and my sister and my mom. My mom and my sister didn't like it. My dad thought it was awesome. So that's cool. I think they just don't like long movies, and I definitely understand that because I didn't like long movies either. But something about The Batman is just really interesting, even though it is a very long, kind of ridiculously long movie, actually, for what it actually tells you. So yeah. Then in terms of reading, I actually didn't really do that much reading. So let's just do this quickly so I don't really have to edit too much down. So yeah, I started with My Dress Up Darling the night right I left for Mexico. So we had to leave at 3 a.m. in the morning so we could get to Mexico in a decent hour. And so I just decided not to sleep, which was actually kind of a good thing, because that way I could sleep through most of the trip and save myself some discomfort and this kind of like annoying feeling of like bouncing up and down a lot, right? So yeah, started with My Dress Up Darling. I really enjoyed this volume. I like the addition of that new girl. I don't know her name, but I think she's good. And I don't know, the way that the relationship has been building is really good. I just really enjoy it. I can't wait to read volume 4 and pick up the rest of it. And then I read Grashross volume 1, which is really good, actually. It deals with these like Krog-Magnon people as they are living in a village. We follow this guy for the beginning of the story as he basically fights destiny because his son is going to be born on a blood moon. And so the elders have dictated that he should die because a blood moon birth is going to bring the downfall of their village. The man decides that he is not going to let his son die, and that he is going to appease the gods by killing this giant rhinoceros. He does so, at the cost of his arm and his vision and, you know, a lot of things, because it's a very difficult thing to kill. And eventually we get a time skip. His son is kind of ostracized from the village, but they are still part of the village because it is very necessary for them to be so, because his father cannot hunt on his own. So they would die if he wasn't part of the village, even if he is ostracized. And then we get to see this kind of the situation that the elders described kind of happen, but in a way that you wouldn't expect. And so it's actually really, really good. I really enjoyed it. I can't wait for more. And I know it gets really raunchy in further volume, so I'm interested to see how that tone shifts. And there's kind of elements of comedy already. I mean, the main character has a normal name, but his father's name is literally Dada. So, I mean, his dad's name is Dad. So, I don't know. I think it's funny. But, I don't know. I'm really interested to see more of this. I also really just like this edition. Milky Way Ediciones did a really good job with it. It has a nice heft to it, but it doesn't feel too, you know, harsh. The paper is very nice. The print quality is really good as well. So I really liked Grass Ross a lot. I'm going to do your first impressions review for it, but I basically already told you all of the information for it, you know, just now. But I will do a review for it in a separate video. Then I read Mobile Suit Gundam 1 and 2. I reread this one, and I read this one for the first time. I'm really liking it. I actually think it's really cool. It has, you know, pretty standard space opera type stuff to it. It has a lot more kind of looks into war and stuff like that I wasn't expecting. But it's good. I really enjoyed it. And the first volume made a lot more sense now that I've read it more than once. Because the first time I felt really confused. Like, I didn't really understand what was going on. But now I get it, so that's good. Then I read No Guns Life 4, 5, and 6, and it continues to be a great story. I really enjoyed it. I like the background that we're getting for Juzo's character a lot. I think it's really, really good. I'm really interested in all the other gun units that are left over, and the mystery of Victor and stuff like that. I really, really enjoy everything that is being told to us in this series so much. Then I read a digital light novel, which was Cooking with Wild... sorry, not Cooking with Wild Game. Campfire Cooking with My Absurd Skill, which was awesome. I really, really enjoyed it. It was a super fast read, and it was just really, really fun, and I liked it a lot. I definitely want to buy more of it. I probably will here soon, but I've actually spent a lot of money this month already, so I'm not too sure if I will. Because there's other things that I have in my to-buy list that are higher priority. A lot of them did release this month, like Mashal 7, Eden 017, Record of Ragnarok 3, you know, all of these types of things that are a lot more important than this, you know, light novel that I bought for 50 cents at one time. So, yeah, that's all of the reading that I've been doing. Oh, I also read Dr. Stone, the special one-shot, which is really good as well. I'm going to do a video for that one here soon as well. So, yeah, I didn't really get to read as much as I was hoping to, but that just kind of happens because my cousin is getting slightly older, and he's more interested in interacting with everyone else more often than he used to. So, it kind of makes sense that I wouldn't have as much peace and quiet as I was initially expecting, but I have no issues with it. I thought it was fun. Even though I didn't like the video game that we were playing, I just enjoyed spending time with my little cousin and with my other cousins as well. So, yeah, my trip was good. My reading was good. What I watched was good. I've had a really great start to this month, a really great, you know, first half of the month. I had a wonderful birthday that I really, really enjoyed and I was really happy with. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know what you thought. And thank you guys very much for watching. See you guys later.